Hello everyone, welcome back to week 2 / episode 1 / episode 2 of the Screenfall podcast. This week we are talking about Boogie Nights by PTA. Big legend.
Boogie.
Boogie. I'm here with George and Toby.
Hello.
Hello.
Epic.
We did it.
Alright, I need to get my breath back. I feel like I didn't breathe. I was a bit nervous for that. Oh.
Well, we're starting off the show. We're going to do a bit of movie news today.
Yes, movie news, yeah. Got some big news in the movie industry this week,
We thought
listeners.
we thought we'd have a little relaxed start this time, not get too intense.
Yeah, because if any of you who are listening currently also listen to episode 0, I'm sure you're all aware that we just kind of jumped about a bit. So this week, hopefully, it's a bit more order.
So this
Smoother.
week, hopefully, we do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's me farting and screaming, and
Yeah.
someone's gonna be dead by the end. Put it in the comments below. Who do you think it's gonna be?
Oh, I vote Ollie. I
vote Toby because he's a wise man with a tree.
Right. No, we're not having this.
All right. Okay.
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers.
I want to talk about it.
This is
Cinemas.
the biggest news of the week, I'd say.
Biggest news of
Right.
bloody year, mate.
This is I saw this and I was like, I'm a bit angry about this. Well, I don't know how I feel, but I feel like it's a very bad thing. So they've said all of the 2021 films are going to be streamed on the day of the cinema launch as well now. And
Yeah,
it's
on HBO Max.
It's some big films. You've got June's going to be on it, The Matrix 4, the Suicide Squad sequel, even though obviously
It's not a sequel, actually.
is it not?
No, it's technically it's James Gunn doing it, the guy who did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
And it's kind of like a reboot, kind of. I think they've got like Harley Quinn back, but like
Right.
everyone else is new. I don't know.
So-
Somehow I think it might be good.
by sequel they just mean remake.
I don't even know. It's literally just called The Suicide Squad this
The
time
Suicide
instead of
Squad.
just Suicide Squad.
It's like
I
the
see.
Batman.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, can I also wait? Hold on. Pause the chit chat. Can I ask just a audio question? Because I'd rather
Yeah.
ask it now than in half an hour. So when you're not talking, so when I'm not talking and I'm listening, it's still like flapping about by like the 40 zone. Is that this? Because that's just
It's like I'm seeing some minor flapping, and I think it's just like very minor residual audio, maybe coming from your headphones.
yeah. It's
Or it might
freaking
just
me
be
out that it's like
background
picking
noise.
you up somehow, but it isn't. But
It's like I keep thinking that I'm picking you up, but then I look and it doesn't actually quite directly sync up.
yeah,
So I don't know.
because it's when I'm not talking, it's kind of flapping about by like the 50, 40.
Mine's flapping about the 50-40 range. Don't worry about the 50-40 range. We should be fine there.
Okay, all right. Back to the movie chat.
Right, we didn't take a break there, I promise. We're here and
It wasn't a technical
we're still
difficulty,
live.
I had to
Sorry.
fetch the Christmas tree again.
Yeah, Toby had to go buy another
That-
Christmas tree. He's got
Yeah.
5 now.
Toby and his
I've been
trees.
buying too many Christmas trees lately.
If you listeners want the goss, Toby mugged it yesterday because he had to go buy a bloody plant,
Christmas tree. I had to go
A
Christmas tree
plant.
hauling.
Was
it was
it-
quite
was it-
epic.
a festive
even a real
plant.
tree?
It was, yeah, of course it. Well, I wasn't going to go into a store and buy a fake tree.
I don't know.
I
We're
was
a
only
plastic
going
tree
because of
family.
the
Yeah,
so-
we're a
excitement
plastic
of
tree family as
a
well.
real Christmas tree.
Don't even get me started on the year my mum came back with a white tree. God.
Oh, we have
God,
a
that
white
sounds
tree.
awful.
No.
Oh no, that's
You're
not
telling me
Christmas
you
at
mugged the
all.
podcast to get a white tree?
No. We have a real tree and then we have a fake white tree.
Oh, well, that's alright. I guess that's fine.
We have
White
two
trees remind me of like a metropolitan New York Christmas where like they don't care about the Christmas spirit. They've just got a white tree
Yeah.
and their son hates them because he doesn't spend enough time with him. That's
Talking
all that
about
reminds me
people
of.
who don't enjoy the Christmas spirit, Warner Brothers not giving their films proper cinema releases has been stressing me out. So can we go back
It's
to
not very
this?
Christmassy. It's not very Christmassy.
It's
is
not very Christmassy.
It? Yeah. Well, can I say you missed out Space Jam 2 on the release for next year?
Yes, no,
Warner
I was
Brothers.
just seeing Space Jam 2, which, to be honest with you, I'm now quaking
Yeah.
slightly.
Quaking in your boots.
There's also The Conjuring with the
Yeah.
subtitle "The Devil Made Me Do It," which I think is actually quite hilarious. Can I just say?
What was the last Conjuring film?
Oh god,
Was it the
Conjuring
bloody-
It was
9.
The Nun or something.
Yeah, the nunnery. The nun.
I'm
Story,
not even sure
the-
I saw the first one.
Nun Story
Yeah.
2. I don't know.
Anyway, this big Warner Brothers deal has a lot of implications for the movie industry as a whole.
Yeah.
It's I would say that these companies have been trying to do this for, I'd say, at least maybe 5 years now. They've been trying to get this VOD cinema release simultaneously, but the big picture houses have been very, very anti it because they think, at least, I agree with them, that it kind of ruins the purity of cinema. Why would you go to the cinema if you can just watch it on your TV?
Well, people
later
say
that
it's
day
going to be
for
the end of
free?
cinema, isn't it? Really, like the end of
I-
like movie theaters. Not the end of
Well,
cinema,
it's-
but
Well, the thing is, theatres are already struggling so much right now.
yeah,
With the coronavirus practically nearly being a year of
God,
being
a
about and about.
Being about.
Yeah.
Corona's been on the scene for a year
Yeah,
now.
it's been about. The theatres are really struggling, and this is basically what feels like the final nail in the coffin to me.
I mean, I think there could be some positives come out of it, to be honest. Because I think, I don't know, maybe we don't see so many films with $300 million budgets that are these absolute disgusting messes of money.
no, I can't see
Yeah.
that having any kind of impact.
Maybe
on
the
blockbuster
mid-budget
cinema.
feature could make a big return. And it's like the mid-budget feature has been dead for like 10 or 15 years, it feels like. And I'd love for that to come back, honestly.
You
Yeah,
want those middle roads.
it's
I want them
it's a shame though.
Fifth Element, Hot Fuzz,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
These were all the mid-budget features that would never
Yeah.
have got made today.
I want a high budget Hot Fuzz. That's what I want.
'Cause it doesn't have a big purple man in a suit clicking fingers.
Yeah,
Clicking
we
fingers.
missed out.
Yeah.
We needed the big CGI villain in Hot
Yeah.
Fuzz to really
Yeah.
Fuck.
get it home.
I want massive flying cornetos everywhere.
So-
So
Has anyone
This
seen
is-
anything else?
Oh, so yeah, I thought we could do a little chat about just interesting things we've seen this week, and I have a nice little segue.
Oh, blimey.
So
yeah.
as we all
Is
know,
this news related? Just
yeah,
to
it's
ask?
news related. It's news related.
Okay, I got
So
it.
news related stuff. Mank came out yesterday.
Oh,
Yes.
I saw.
David
yes.
Fincher's first film in 6 years. Looks
Mhm.
pretty exciting. I haven't watched it yet because I wanted this film to be in my fresh in my head.
Do you want
But-
to mix it up with a whole
yeah.
load of Fincher?
But it does look pretty mental, and nice little segue into what we've watched this week. I watched Citizen Kane in preparation for Mank because it's about the co-writer of Citizen Kane, isn't it?
Oh wow.
It's I
I
forget.
I
didn't
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called Mank because the guy that wrote Citizen Kane is called. He's got like a very Jewish name.
He's a manky bloke.
Well, no, his last name's like Mankiewicz or something, like very Jewish.
I
name.
saw your Letterboxd
I'd be
review that
changing
said my favourite character in every Orson Welles film is the lighting.
It's very true. His honestly, the lighting in any Orson. I mean, well, disclaimer: I've only seen 2 Orson Welles films, so I can't really speak too much. But it's insane. It makes me want to just pick up a torch and just shine it in people's eyes.
Hey, I've listened to an album by Orson. I know him.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of something that might interest you, Toby.
Yeah.
Quite a lot. So, Oscar Isaac. Do you know who he is?
No.
Poe.
I know
He's
the
Ex
name.
Machina, Poe from
Yes,
Star Wars.
yes.
He has been cast as the one and only Solid Snake in a
What?
new Metal Gear Solid movie. Yeah.
Oh shit!
I know. How do you feel about that casting?
A Metal Gear Solid Snake movie. I've not heard
Yeah.
about this.
I know. I only saw the article today.
That sounds a bit intense, actually.
I don't
I
know
feel
how
like
I
they'll
feel about
butcher
it
it.
because I feel like they're gonna absolutely butcher it.
I mean, when has a good video game movie literally ever
Been
released?
made?
Yeah,
There,
God.
there isn't one.
I went and watched the Assassin's Creed movie when it came out, and I was like, that is the biggest pile of wank I've ever watched in my entire life.
It was actually the most uninteresting movie I think I've ever watched in my whole
Considering
life.
the Assassin's
It's
Creed
so
universe is
boring.
like fairly, it's not the best video game, but there's a lot going on. I feel like it's,
Yeah, no. I
like-
think Assassin's Creed is one of those games that you actually could make a good film
yeah,
about,
exactly. That's the
potentially.
thing. Then Michael Fassbender.
Yeah,
was
but I
just
think it would
looking
have to
sexy for a
be
bit.
very separate. I feel like it would work much better as a drama than it would work as a over-the-top Michael Fassbender running about on Potter roofs.
But it's barely even that.
But that's what the game is really. It is just Michael Fassbender
They
running
kept
about
it.
on
They kept it
roofs.
too close. They kept it too close to the game, I think, and
Yeah.
splitting between like historical times and like modern times. The modern times was so boring, and then the historical stuff blew me away with how boring it could be as well.
Yeah.
I really thought, oh, at least I get to see some fighting or something now, and no, just nothing.
Yeah.
It gave me nothing.
Yeah, I can't even remember it. I remember my dad watched it a few weeks ago, and he was like, "Oh, have you seen this?" I was like, "Yeah, don't watch it." And he was like, "No, I'll watch it anyway." I was like, "You're gonna regret it." And he was like, "No, I'll make my own mind up." And he was like, "Yeah, I should have trusted you. That was horrific." And I was like, "Yeah, well, there you go."
So
No, I see something with Michael Fassbender. I get excited. To be fair.
Well, he's a bloody brilliant actor. I love him.
Yeah.
So this is right. So I've basically zoned all of that out because it was Assassin's Creed, and I've been thinking. About
Yeah,
Metal
we've
Gear
been talking
Solid.
about it for a while.
Oscar Isaac doesn't sound anything like Solid Snake, and why didn't they just get the guy that voice acts Solid Snake?
I don't know. Is he an old man these days?
Yeah, but Solid Snake is a pretty old guy. I think he's not
but-
old. He's just like dad aged.
Or can we have Solid Snake go around with a walking stick, like
Solid
walking around
in
the
Metal
home,
Gear
getting
Solid
his-
4,
getting
Solid
his
Snake's like
pills?
80 years old.
He doesn't. He looks like 50.
No,
Not
he's
80.
like well old in Metal Gear Solid 4 because he's like
Where-
aged up.
God, I haven't even
How is
played
he
any of
so
these
strong?
games.
He's injured, mate. Look, I can't explain the plot line of Metal Gear to you because it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Let's not.
Okay.
Well, that can be a whole separate podcast.
He gets injected with aging genes, and he like super
Aging
ages,
juice.
and it's ridiculous. Whatever.
Sounds a bit Captain America to me.
I'm not excited. I'm excited about the Solid Snake film, but I'm not excited as well.
I want a
deeply
solid
horrified.
Snape film. That's what I want.
Oh god, don't get me started, Ollie. Actually, no. Actually, wait. Take that out of my mind because, what's his name? Why can't I remember Snape's name right now?
Fucking
Snape?
Alan
Yeah,
Rickman.
the
Alan
actor,
Rickman.
Alan Rickman. Yeah, go. Oh, mine. Had a mind wipe. Because
we
it
only
couldn't be
watched
Alan
him in Die Hard the
Rickman.
other day.
I want nothing to do with a Snape movie without Alan Rickman.
Yeah, it is very true. Yeah, I saw like a post not long ago, and it was like, oh, like this person would make it like the perfect young Snape, and I was like, no,
No.
no, not at all.
No, it wouldn't.
The only young Snape is young Snape, and young Snape is dead. So yeah, we're not getting it. Oh, speaking of which,
I'm still
actually-
not over it, so don't be talking about it.
Yeah, but speaking of Harry Potter, actually, another film. Okay, so let me just put this out there. So I had maybe the best streak of good movies in a row that I've maybe ever had. It was ridiculous. I had like 7 films in a row. That was just insane.
I saw you've
yeah.
been loving it lately.
I have been absolutely fucking loving it. So it started with King of Comedy, actually. No, that's a lie. It started with Mangrove, the new Steve McQueen small act film. Then it was last week podcast. I watched King Comedy and Taxi Driver back to back, and then Citizen Kane, then Love Is Rock, which I'll say was fucking maybe my favourite film of the year so far.
Okay.
Then The Thin Red Line by Terrence Malick.
I
Then
mean, that's yeah.
yeah, I mean we can't talk
It's
about
on
all
my
these.
big
We'll be all
it's on
day.
my
Yeah,
big
too
radar.
many.
That
Me and Toby
Um,
once watched the first 20 minutes of The Thin Red Line.
Did
I-
we?
Yeah, and
I
then we
really liked
noticed
it.
I had to get the train in an hour, and there was 2 hours and 10 minutes of the film.
It's a long old
left.
film. It's like
Oh,
3
It's a
hours
long
long.
boy, yeah.
But yeah, then I watched this film called August in the Water, which I won't go into too much detail. I'm halfway through writing a post for it for my Instagram, but it's like
Yeah.
it's very like not well known at all. It's like, and it's probably the most underrated film I've ever seen. It's
wow.
like it was
Right.
so good. And then
I
I,
don't think
watched
I've even
Close
ever heard
Up.
of it.
Yeah, exactly. But then
it looks quite nuts.
yeah. But then what ruined the streak? What were we all here for? I watched What If with Daniel Radcliffe and Adam
No!
Driver, and it was like
Oh
the
my
shittest
God.
film
I've seen the
ever
poster
seen.
for that so many times.
It's because I was
Oh.
like, yeah,
Oh, I'm really sad.
Is that the one
that's
where
that's
he
a
like
bad
slams down
The nachos,
and
yeah,
he's like,
what-
I just had sex and I'm gonna eat some fucking nachos.
yeah. It's literally I don't know. Adam Driver was like the only redeeming part of that entire film because honest, as much as I love Daniel Radcliffe and I try and give him credit whenever I can because I just love him so much, his performance was fucking disgusting. It was so bad.
Yeah,
But
well,
I
bet
hated
you've never
it.
seen Horns with the
I
best
have
ever
seen
Daniel
Horns.
Radcliffe.
I have seen Horns.
performance.
I'll tell you what, I actually really liked Horns. Like, no joke, I actually
I
quite
bet you
enjoyed it.
did.
I think I went and saw it in the cinema like in like 2013. It must have come out.
Yeah, something like that. But I actually was quite
I
into
remember it being
it.
bad.
Just to clarify, these two are Potter simps, so
Yeah,
they'll
we
love
do
anything
love
with
love
Daniel
Potter.
because they just pretend that it is Harry Potter.
Well, when in
Oh, yeah.
2011, when Woman in Black came out, and it was the most terrifying film ever made.
2012.
2012. I was like, Mum, me and my sister want to go see this film because it's got Harry Potter in it. She was like, Are you sure it's a horror film? And we're like, yeah, we'll love it. It's got Harry Potter in. And then there I was, hiding behind my bloody coat the entire time because I was actually shitting myself. And then they changed it to a 15. So I was there, like 11 years old, watching this horror film that was actually should have been a 15.
I swear it was a 12A.
It was, but it's since been
on,
changed. Yeah.
I honestly, I remember sitting there in the cinema with my hands over my eyes for like the last 30 minutes. It was quite. I was there with the boys. It was.
I watched probably the first 5 minutes, and then I was here.
Then you got scared.
Yeah.
It's like the Guns Akimbo film is just an extended part of the Harry Potter universe.
So I actually respect Daniel Radcliffe so much though for his
never
weird
seen
roles.
It's the one where he has guns attached to his hands and he can't get rid of them.
I've seen the poster come up before.
It's ridiculous.
I can't see it being good, but I can't wait to watch it. But then Swiss Army Man, I actually love Swiss Army Man, and he does a brilliant job in that film. I genuinely gave it like a 9 out of 10. I thought it was fucking brilliant.
I'm still incredibly unsure of what that film's about. I haven't seen it yet, but it seems incredibly odd.
Spoilers. Daniel Radcliffe's he's a dead man that comes up on a beach and
he could do whatever he wants.
What's the other actor's name? What's the other actor's name?
Paul Dano, massive legend.
Yeah. I really like him actually.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah.
He finds him, and basically Daniel Radcliffe can do whatever he wants. He's a Swiss Army man. He can use his farts to be a boat in the sea, and he can literally do anything that he needs him to.
Like he can use his hands like grappling hooks and shit like that, and just spew water out his mouth as drinking water.
It's incredibly personal though, and the relationship between the two. Even though Daniel Radcliffe is like a dead man.
Yeah.
It's very heartwarming actually.
Yeah, it's a really touching film. It's kind of all about friendship and all this different bits. But then there's a great quote from the director, and he said, "The first fart makes you laugh, and the last fart makes you cry." And it's actually it's very true.
That's funny because it says here at the Sundance Film Festival, it earns the nickname the Farting Corpse Movie.
Yeah.
So clearly there's a lot of farting.
Yeah. But then, as we all know, fart jokes were perfected in Ozu's 1959 film Good Morning, which is another film that you should both watch.
Yeah, but Adam Sandler changed the game on farting. You got to admit.
Adam Sandler.
God, Adam Sandler perfected it.
He changed the game on cinema. Let's not lie.
Yeah. He's transcended more than we can even understand.
Yeah, well, I don't know of any read my review for Boogie Nights on Letterboxd, but
that would be
cheating. That would be cheating. I can't do that.
Stayed away.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll read this bit, which it's not spoilers and it's not going to spoil anything from the rest.
Should we wait till we actually start talking about the film?
Okay. It's just because it had Adam Sandler's name in it. I thought it was really
okay. Wait, how about we segue right now and start talking about the film?
Sure, yeah.
Crikey.
Wait, do I read it out?
Swiggity swooty.
Are we ready? Everyone need 5 seconds to prepare?
I'm ready. Alright, let me get my notes up on my phone.
Bloody hell, we're going in hot. We're going in raw.
We're raw.
With a slow branch as we all desperately scramble to get our phone notes up.
I actually wrote my notes.
I wrote
with pen and paper like an artiste.
Well, I did as well. Actually, I wrote the shit notes on my phone, and I wrote actually something I wanted to say on paper.
Yeah, fair.
But okay, I just want to get this out there before we say anything. I think Paul Thomas Anderson is a bloody genius. He's one of my favourite directors ever, maybe, and I think he's bloody brilliant, and he is. I'll say it. He's the best Anderson working today, and as much as we all love Wesley, I'd actually knock him out of Paul RVT.
And I thought you meant Paul W.S. Anderson, the director of the Resident Evil films.
We can just refer to him as PTA because that's where he is in my heart. He's
so
he's an acronym.
He was 26 when he made this film, which is
really?
Just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Because I think about where I am at 21, and literally I'm so incapable. It's a joke. He made this at 26 years
film,
old.
Isn't it?
This is nuts.
Was it his second film?
It was his second film. I think.
Hard 8 is his first, isn't it? Yeah, that's the Hard 8 is the only one I haven't seen now.
Well, because for me personally, the only other PTA film I'd ever seen was Punch Drunk Love.
That's the same.
I haven't seen any of the others yet.
Yeah.
and it was quite a big tonal shift between those two films, to be honest.
Yeah.
I agree with you that this was like revolutionary for me in a way. Like this film, I think is honestly like amazing. It's like
This is a modern classic.
It's a modern classic, 100%.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
up there in the top 5 list for me. Like I really
Of all
felt that way
time?
about it. Honestly, yeah.
Bloody
Blimey.
hell! No wonder you wrote 9 pages on it. But yeah,
and
so
the film, like I don't know. Go on, Ollie. You go first.
I was just gonna say, in my brain, I know it's a massive comparison, but I would compare, in a lot of ways, Paul Thomas Anderson as like a modern Kubrick. I know it's crazy, but he is so versatile. And the only other director that I think matches his versatility is Big Stanley, because like Paul can do body romance, he can do comedy, he can do.
I have to say,
like,
I did
existential
think that coming from Punch Drunk Love into this and seeing just the pure difference in the filmmaking technique, and knowing about what the other films that he's done, he is very. It does seem like he is very versatile. Like this was nothing
definitely.
like. I mean, the cinematography is slightly like Punch Drunk Love, just in terms of like the longer takes and the floating camera.
Yeah.
But it does feel entirely unique, and it fully captures the tone and the atmosphere of doing the big pawns in the 80s. It was just great.
I actually don't. For me, anyway, this I kind of felt a lot of similarities between this, and it reminded me of like a mix of Scorsese and Tarantino's work. Like, because
Sure.
like I mean the film is basically Goodfellas. Like
I haven't seen
like,
Goodfellas, so no
it's like a
spoilers.
bad, negatively
A bad
viewed
fellas.
industry, like a family who like
Broken
take part in this
family.
business. Like the opening scene of this film and Goodfellas is basically the same.
Oh,
like
cool.
the like incredible long shot from Goodfellas is like, and then there's this where they're going into the club, they're going through the club, they're following
God.
Louise round. It's basically
The
same.
opening scene was insane. There's a reason I watched it again before we started this, and I was going to watch the last scene as well, but I thought, I was like, I can. That's ingrained in my
there's no
memory
need to
now.
see Marky Mark's penis another time.
Yeah, but yeah, the opening scene to this is phenomenal. Like the way the camera like floats around as like, well, I'll just say the choreography in the entire film is ridiculous. It's like
It's
it's
nuts.
one of my favorite things about the film. It's like not only are the actors kind of like moving around the camera's like moving around them. It's all very organic and it's
Organic
crazy.
is the right word. I love it in the opening when Jack sees Marky Mark for the first. Can we call him Marky Mark from?
Yeah,
This is basically Marky Mark era Mark. And so I want to call
was
him
going to
Marky
call him
Mark.
Marky
Yeah.
Mark.
It's a
the
few
entire
years
time.
afterwards, but I don't care. He
Marky
looks like
Mark
such a young
and Paul,
boy.
and yeah,
So when Jack first sees Marky Mark, and he's got like the neon stars all behind him in like a row in the back of the hotel bar, and Marky Mark
Or
like
club.
looks at Jack,
yeah.
and it's like all of these neon stars. I was just like, from that moment, I knew that I was gonna love it. I just like with the opening finishing in that, I was just like already big smile.
I'll trump you on that. I knew I was going to love it about 2 minutes before that, when the camera went from body up in the air looking at the Boogie Nights sign and through the
And it
doorway into
spins
the club.
around, yeah.
Like there's a continuous movement through the doorway into the club and then onto the dance floor. I was like, that was fucking ridiculous.
The soundtrack in this is nuts as well.
Oh, I wrote
Sorry,
something
I have
down
to
about
get
that.
this out of the way.
Yeah.
But it's literally just absolutely huge song after song.
That's
it's just
what I
insane.
wrote. It never stops. It literally never stops.
There's no breaks. There's honestly no breaks. And sometimes you're in the middle of a dialogue scene and they just fucking cut it and they're going for another one. And you're like, cool, I thought I was only getting one banger in this conversation. But no, there's two.
Yeah.
It is literally just banger after banger. And everything fits so well together. Like I know it's pretty easy to choose a good soundtrack for a 70s porn film.
Yeah.
But like yeah.
Before we go
The
any
vibe
further,
the
can
vibe
I,
is top notch.
we talk about the porn and like how much of an impact it has on the film and because the film is about porn, but it's not really about porn.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like not really at all. The porn
film's
kind
about
of,
family.
The porn doesn't matter really.
Yeah.
Like.
Well,
I'm glad. Wait,
And-
are we all kind of in that same boat? That we kind of think that the main theme is like family and
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
what people
Yes.
would do to kind of feel good around
Yeah.
like with people and about themselves and all this kind of
Definitely.
stuff. Yeah. Okay.
I almost
cool.
saw like the work that has to be done to make the films almost like a comparison to the work you have to do to be in a family.
Yeah.
Like the work that you have to do to like continue on. Well, where am I going with this?
God, you could
starting
do
to sound
it.
very
Get
incestuous.
your pages out.
Oh no, but it was like I remember. So when they pick up Marky Mark on the side of the street,
Yeah.
and I love how they're like, "Hey, do you remember me from earlier?" And like she sucked him off in the kitchen cupboard about 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And Julia Roberts is just like, "Come with us, baby," and he's just like, "Okay." And it's
Sure.
Yeah.
like, you would be, wouldn't you? I'd say okay. I'd be in that car straight away.
Yeah. No, without
Well,
without fail.
If Julia Roberts
Yeah.
said anything to me, I'd just get in her car.
yeah.
Even if she was like,
Okay.
"Do you have directions?" I'd be like, "Yep, I'll show you the way."
But they're at dinner and they're saying, "Oh yeah, well we need to buy this and we need to get this and it's going to cost like 30 grand for this." And it was Marky Mark and Roller Girl and Julia Roberts and Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds.
Jack.
Burt
his
Reynolds.
His name's
We'll
Jack.
call him Jack.
Yeah.
The actor's name is Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
But it almost reminded me of like. It was clearly set out to be like a family. Like they've got alcohol,
yeah.
they've got soft drinks, and when they're talking about like, oh, it's going to be 30 grand for this, it reminded me of like talking about college funds.
Yeah.
And like they're sitting there like, oh yeah, we could adopt you, but then we got to pay for all of this food for you, and we're gonna have to save up for college, and that's
Well-
gonna cost this.
well,
And
before-
it seemed like it was almost like an interview to be part of the family.
Yeah.
Well, they're literally sat round the table. You've got the mum and the dad on one side and the two kids on the other.
Yeah.
And it's like, it literally, if it started on that shot, you just assume it was a family.
Yeah, exactly. But let's talk about Marky Mark's mum and his real family.
Oh yeah.
Like,
we
'cause
probably
obviously
should in there.
he-
Fuck.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about their existence.
I just sort of blocked them out because they were such bastards.
They were massive cunts, but I think his relationship with his mum is important.
Definitely.
When you look at his relationship with Jack, because obviously there's a huge theme of people wanting like love from someone else. Like Jack wants kind of love from people that he's like the people watching his films. Marky Mark wants, well, at the beginning he wants love from his mum, and that kind of evolves into a want to have love from Jack, and everyone's
and
got
then
like
more into wanting to be loved by everybody.
exactly.
And also he entirely lacks a father figure.
Oh
Because
yeah,
his dad just sits in the bedroom
not really
and
saying
prays, doing nothing,
Yeah,
while the alcoholic, abusive mum just calls him dumb. And
Yeah.
Marky Mark dumbly replies, "I'm not dumb."
I'm not dumb.
Yeah.
I'm not dumb.
Don't call me stupid. Don't call me
I'm
stupid.
gonna do things, Mum.
No,
I
I'm
can do
gonna
things.
do it.
I really hated when she started putting those posters off the wall. I was like, oh, like leave the posters out of it. That actually
It was quite
upset me
tense.
more than everything else. I was like-
Somehow the posters made me feel vulnerable. The
Well, it's just
posters
because-
being ripped up, I was like, shit.
Well, because, I don't know. If you kind of dive into that deeper, like people decorate their rooms with their personality, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
You set up your
And
room.
she's ripping that apart.
She's
yeah.
literally
Yeah.
tearing down who he is,
Which is
like,
just
verbally and metaphorically.
which is Bruce Lee and naked women. That's what we learned from his bedroom wall.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Consists of
I
Bruce
love,
Lee.
I love that she's like, none of this stuff is yours. I paid for all of this. And I
Yeah.
thought, he's got 2 jobs. He's earning shitloads of money, right? What has he been doing with this money all of this time? Apart
Yeah.
from buying... Is he like, hey,
Probably
Mum,
getting
can I
dick-
have these nudie
hormones.
posters, please? I've written them out in the magazine. Can you order them? And Mum's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
You're telling
go
me
on.
he hasn't bought them posters himself?
Yeah.
I doubt the
I,
Christian mum is buying the naked woman posters.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's also
Um,
one of the posters in his room is also in Eric Foreman's bedroom in that 70s show. So I was like, this is 70s to the T.
I loved the first time that Marky Mark goes into his bedroom. The camera kind of follows him in, and it's basically on the ground, and
It's at his
like
dick level.
It's
That's
doing
what it is.
it's doing like it does a 360 from him, and it goes around like the lower half of the room, and it's
Yeah.
quite like a bog standard, boring boys' room. Nothing there. There's like the one poster, and then it like gets to the shot of his cock.
Yeah.
And he was staring at it, and he touches it. And then the music like shifts instantly, and the camera pans up, and we go back around the room, but we're looking at all of the posters and stuff on the wall
Yeah,
this time.
it's pretty genius.
And it's like, it is genius. It's like he was hiding who his true self was before, but then as soon as it's like unleashed, like he pulls his trousers down and you can see the size of his cock. Suddenly
Yeah.
it's like, God, I'm a god.
Well, going back to this massive donkey schlong, I actually love that.
Well,
Go on, Toby.
the donkey schlong, the 13-inch prosthetic penis, right?
Oh, it looks so odd.
I wanted to know. So I saw some interviews with Marky Mark where he was talking about the prosthetic penis thing, and the fact that he had to go and have some old men had to like straddle around his penis and make this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he had to like walk it. Apparently, the first iteration, which was based on, I think it's John Holmes or something, who's the 70s porn star that the film is basically based on.
Yeah.
The penis was like down past Marky Mark's knees, and so it's like PCA asked him to come on set. Then he comes on set with the prosthetic penis on to show everybody, you know, just dangling out, and it's like down past his knees. So he had to go back, have it redone,
Yeah.
obviously to the size that you see in the film, but he still kept it. He
Well, he
still
kept the
owned.
big
Yeah,
penis
he
from
still
before.
owns the big penis.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
And I want to know, what does he keep the big penis in?
I hope it's like you know when like people have like samurai swords on their wall.
I
I hope he's just got like a.
hope it's like a weird like you would keep some weird bugs or something. It's in a jar of liquid. That's how I imagine it.
It's like grown its own
Rasputin.
like
It's like
geosphere.
Rasputin.
Yeah, but also on the nature of things that are just slightly unnatural and weird. What the fuck happened to Don Cheadle halfway through? He turned into someone else. Did anyone like? I don't know if
What
I
do
was
you
going
mean?
crazy, but I swear like there was a moment where like Don Cheadle's character like wasn't Don Cheadle, and
What do
then
you mean he wasn't Don Cheadle?
like
What do you mean he wasn't Don Cheadle?
I know. I think I got confused with the different characters, but like there was a moment where I thought they switched out the actor, and it really confused me. And that, part of me thinks I'm right. I don't know because it was a different guy that wasn't Don Cheadle, and he was talking about stereos.
No, it's the same guy.
Is
Ollie.
this-
It,
Is Don
I would
Cheadle
recognise Don
the
Cheadle
whole
anywhere.
time?
No, there
Are
was
you
a bit
kidding
where
me
it
right
wasn't
now?
Don
Is
Cheadle.
Don Cheadle the whole time?
Are you
Yeah.
just getting confused when he sat at the party and he looks like
No,
Jesus or
no, when he
something?
looks like bloody Bob Marley in a Egyptian outfit.
Yeah,
Oh no, I was probably just losing it to be honest. But
I think you were losing it.
yeah, I mean, I was just too busy thinking about Marky Mark's schlong. But actually saying that,
It is all consuming.
it is. But at the end, because I could like feel that I knew I was close to the end. I could tell it was going to end soon. I picked up my phone to look at the time. So I was like, oh, I wonder how long's left. And like as I picked up my phone, looked at it, I must have like read a notification as well. Kind of my eyes were on my phone for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I looked back at the screen and it was just out. And I didn't I didn't see it come out. It was just there. So then I had to rewind it to see like how did it happen?
I was so happy it came out at the end. When it came
Yeah.
out, George and I both just like looked at each other with this massive grin. We were like, ooh!
And just for reference, you'd never see his penis throughout the entire film until the last like 3 seconds.
It's the ultimate payoff, really.
And it is because a lot he pulls it out a lot of times on set and stuff, and they always just cut to like a close-up reaction of people reacting to seeing it rather than ever
Yeah,
showing it,
they-
which works way more effectively the whole
Yeah,
time.
definitely. It's
Like,
so
All of the
mysterious.
porn is like filmed for the actors' reactions.
Yeah.
It's not, the sex isn't really filmed. It's just sort of like normally a close-up of their face and how they're acting.
Yeah.
Well, it's
And
like
I liked that.
the sex scenes are like it's maybe I don't know. It's the only film I've ever seen where like the sex scenes are like constructive. It's like they're not just sex scenes
Yeah.
for
They
horniness. They're
actually
like,
tell you something.
they're actually a part of the story.
And I think that was important, because if you're going to make a film about porn, you can't be this weirdly perverse, self-indulgent porno flick.
Yeah, because then you just end
It's
up like Gaspar in a
the
way.
mature thing was what happened in Boogie Nights. Like, it feels mature, it feels adult, it doesn't feel like sex for the sake of sex.
Yeah.
It feels like it's important, and I enjoyed that. I liked that. I didn't feel awkward at any point, because it's like, it wasn't just watching two people have sex for that.
Well, even it was quite weird though, because obviously, buddy Julie, Joelle. She's
Who,
his
wait,
mum.
who are you talking about?
I
Julia
don't know.
Roberts.
The mum, the
Joanne,
mum.
Julia Roberts, yeah.
Yeah. Julia Roberts. She's effectively his mum, and then his first day on the job, he just has to have sex with his symbolic mum.
This
which-
is something
at this
I had an
point-
issue with
At
the
this
whole
point,
time.
they weren't. She wasn't his symbolic mum at this point.
Yeah.
I would say.
But then
that
looking
first
back
time.
on it, it's like the fact that
But it's
they
like-
grow
Oh, no, 'cause
closer
they have
together.
sex. They have sex outside of porn.
Oh yeah,
when
which is
when
quite strange.
she's basically his mum. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or at the
The New Year's
it's towards
party.
the end. Oh, okay. I won't go into the New Year's part yet, because fuck me, that's a whole
Yeah,
different box of
there.
frogs.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can I just, before we go on from that, that scene where Marky Mark pulls his penis out for the first time, and
And
it
the-
cuts
and the
towards
last
the
time.
reactions. Oh my god. Philip Seymour Hoffman is in this film, and he plays a character called Scotty. And in this moment, he is literally frothing at the mouth,
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg's penis. He's like visibly shaking. I can see saliva pouring out of his mouth looking at it. It's actually amazing.
Well, he's like a prime example of like, because everyone wants. Going back to that, everyone wants love from someone else. He's literally just after Marky Mark's penis affection and his.
He does desperately
Basically.
desire Marky Mark's penis affection.
But yeah, going back to what I said earlier. This is what I said. I said this to George earlier. There's like a big thing I kind of noted down, but it's so hard to articulate because I just don't really know how to say it. But like, there's so much like such a huge theme of like people being passionate and people like loving things, but also needing love. And like everyone's like Don Cheadle's passionate about hi-fi systems.
Hi-fi systems, yeah.
Jack's passionate about the porn industry. Marky Mark's passionate about this sex in general. But there's like a whole thing about, because I'd argue that even though the film is like about family and like all this kind of stuff, I'd push it further and to say the film in a way is about like what people would do to feel good, just to have to feel happy and feel good about
It's-
themselves, because
wanting.
it is just
Yeah.
it's about clubs, drugs, alcohol, porn, sex. It's like everything about this film is associated with pleasure. So it's just, and like Marky Mark's character, like we find out at the beginning that like there are clubs closer to his home that he could work at, but he wants to work at this one because like this environment is what makes him feel good. And like sex is like the ultimate symbolism for that, isn't it? It's just everyone wants like pleasure and to feel good, but going a bit, I don't know, not deeper, but like the ultimate pleasure for anyone, isn't it, is to be loved and to feel like passionate about things, isn't it? That's it. That's kind of what it's all about. And I wasn't too sure about that, but then looking at PTA's filmography, he's very obviously a romantic. So I wouldn't be surprised if like that was on his mind.
Well, the whole film is really a boy turning into a man and taking responsibility, and along that path, you see what happens with everyone, which is that battle between, pleasure and responsibility.
Oh yeah,
And I think that the sex for Marky Mark is about feeling that power of being loved and being adored and being worshipped, and porn is something that he can channel that feeling through. But because he
definitely.
doesn't have the responsibility to deal with the lifestyle of working in the porn industry, it breaks him. But that I really enjoyed the fact that it ended on a positive note. For as dark as it got at times, the fact that he does mature and he picks himself up off his ass
Yeah.
and he takes responsibility and he gets his big dick out in the mirror for the boys
Yeah. For all the boys.
was really wholesome. It really ended on such a note for me.
I think
don't
from
know.
that,
It didn't. I didn't quite see it as that wholesome of an ending.
I thought it was
mean,
wholesome.
It's like the industry that they all love
It
and
is-
what they want to make is dead.
Yeah.
Like, is dying,
Yeah.
and there's no coming back from it. Like for Jack, his like his rock bottom was like the reality porn in the car with
Oh, yeah,
Romeo.
the fake taxi
like,
scene.
Yeah, and then the rock bottom for Marky Mark was after the drug. Like, I mean, he has the thing in the car park where he gets beaten up, but
Yeah.
then the crazy drug deal scene, which I'm sure we'll get onto.
Yeah.
I've lost my train of thought again, haven't I?
Well, let me
George.
go on to something from that though, because I think the reason I think the ending is wholesome is because I don't think that but obviously the like you said, the industry is dying and they're inevitably just going to fail anyway. But like that's the kind of reward from the final scene is that as his like character gets lower and lower in life, and he loses his like passion and his kind of drive for what he loves doing and everything. He eventually loses love for himself, and that I think, well, he can't even get a bloody hard on because he's so like, I don't know,
Out of love with himself.
and then but then the last scene is him. He can look at it like he's happy with who he is again. He's happy, like he's like proud of his giant donkey schlong, and he's like yeah, here it is. And then even though the film doesn't break the fourth wall or anything, he's showing it to the audience, like without knowing it, but.
Oh yeah, and I mean, he's the dialogue he's reading is it basically does break the fourth wall. Like the dialogue for the script he's reading is so incredibly relevant that it's just ridiculous.
But that scene is like that is him. The last scene is because when I first watched it, I was like, oh, this is just a big funny payoff, and we get to see his big swinging dick. Oh, ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I was like, wait a minute, that was actually quite emotional because it's Marky Mark coming, like he's finally come to terms with who he is, and he's happy with who he is. And I mean, if we're going to talk about the ending, we should talk about how similar the ending is. The scene at the end, the family scene at the end, that is identical to the opening scene, with like how the camera moves around, and it's kind of like
Jack sort of patrols the house.
Yeah.
He checks in on everyone and he acts like a dad. He
wants Roller Girl to clean her room.
Yeah.
That was like, I honestly think that was my
leaving mud
favourite bit of the
everywhere.
film.
Yeah. But it's like the parallel, the technical parallels between the opening scene and that scene were like almost identical. It's like the camera moved around the room as if it did when it started, and it's like that feeling of like euphoria from the opening scene, because that's when the film's at its kind of happiest, really, when it starts, because it kind of all slowly goes down from there. That kind of feeling of.
Do you not think peak Marky Mark was the happiest point?
Well, not
like,
from Marky Mark's perspective. But like, I mean, like from like a tonal point of view, it's literally like
it's
we
like
fly down into this club, and
I know. I even when I rewatched it the second time, it's like it came on and I was literally standing up, boogieing out.
I was vibing. So that's what I mean. I don't mean from a character point of view, because obviously Marky Mark goes up and up and up until he crumbles. But like from like a tonal point of view, anyway, that scene is like kind of it's like peak 70s happiness. Everyone's feeling good, and then that is mirrored in the kind of wholesome family scene at the end, with this kind of same camera movements and how everything's kind of organically moving around again. And yeah, I thought that was really nice. I don't know.
I never really noticed about that. Technically it is pretty much the same. I feel like I didn't clock that till now. Yeah,
because there are a lot of drawn out scenes in the film, but the camera doesn't really do that until that moment. The only time it kind of does that again is is when they kind of they found their kind of wholesome family love within each other.
Well, most of the scenes in the film, they are drawn out scenes, but they're so tasty because a lot of the time there's characters just chatting shit. I mean,
John C. Reilly and Marky Mark's relationship,
Mark's, like stepbrother, essentially stepbrother. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. Reed.
Yeah,
His name.
when he's like talking to him about how he looks like Han Solo from Star Wars. And
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
But it's like it makes it feel so organic because you're seeing these interactions between all these people, and it's just like family interactions. They're just nonsensical shit chatting.
Well, it's like, you know,
but it's about that bond and connection and the fact that they can just be themselves with each other.
Yeah. Well, when they're in the
beautiful.
swimming pool. When those two are in the swimming pool, and it's literally like two brothers playing around in a swimming pool. They're trying to outdive each other and stuff.
I imagine John C. Reilly, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Marky Mark as like three cousins.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way I did it. They weren't like close enough to be brothers, I felt.
Yeah.
But, and it's like when they all go out and buy the shirts, the matching
Oh
shirts.
my God.
And like Marky Mark and John C. Reilly look fine in them.
Yeah.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman looks dreadful.
Well, do you
That's
know
such a classic family moment,
Yeah.
I feel like.
I've got a bit of fun trivia.
Okay.
Considering I said about Star Wars.
Wait, hold on. I just
What?
want to say, before we moved away from the shirts, one of the only things I wrote
It's
in my
important.
notes was, wait, did I write it down? Yeah, the last thing I wrote in my notes was, I want us to get matching shirts.
Okay.
Okay,
see,
I back that. We can do a cool like cover photo for the podcast with us all wearing like Hawaii 5 shirts.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything worse.
Oh, and at the beginning of my notes, I also wrote, I've never wanted to go to a fictional place more in my life, and that was the club scene at the beginning.
Right.
But yeah,
The first thing I wrote was "Don't stop, big stud."
Oh, I wrote that as well with capital letters.
Yeah.
Yes, I wrote that in capital
Don't
letters.
stop, big stud.
Yeah, and it's the only thing I wrote in all caps is just "Don't stop, big stud," and
I've
above
written
that
a
I
lot
wrote
of stuff
"pedo
in
energy."
So the big fun trivia
Yeah.
was the stereo system that Don Cheadle was always trying to sell.
Yeah.
The TK421
Yeah.
is not a real stereo system, obviously, but actually is the name of the stormtrooper that Luke Skywalker steals the armor from
Oh yeah.
in the 1977 A New Hope.
That's amazing.
Because that's the first year of Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
I'm
just
actually
thought that
kind
was
of
really
disappointed.
cool.
I feel like that's the kind of trivia I would know.
Yeah.
TR421.
You're the Star Wars fan
I
here.
know TR421, my guy, yeah.
My man, TR41.
TK41, I think.
Fuck. Oh, I'm rooting for the other one.
Can
You
we,
fake fan.
I don't know what everyone else wanted to talk about, but I feel like I had a few more things to say about his like original family and the impact that has on
Yeah.
like the rest of the film.
Yeah, sure.
I,
Well, it's very important.
Because I love that her, for what we see now, was like an extremely over the top reaction. Marky Mark's going out. He's got a girly on the go that he's getting with.
Yeah.
A
And
whore.
she's not his a quote unquote whore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she is like absolutely disgusted that he would go out and have sex with her.
Yeah.
And it's like she's like, oh, is she your girlfriend? And he's like, no. And she seems to be more pissed off about that. I think in his head in the moment, the character's meant to think that that's a better thing to say.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not his
yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
But somehow that seems to make it worse. And it made me think like he's pursuing his porn career. Like it's already basically started at this point. He's met Jack for the first time. Like how would she would never ever accept that for him. Like based on what she said previously.
Well, I
so
love that
basically
because-
the end of his family life is basically already come.
Yeah. Well,
I
it's
loved
like.
it.
Oh god.
Sorry, when he pulls up at the end in the car's broken down and he's pushing it along,
Yeah.
and it genuinely looked like his family neighborhood. And
I
thinking,
never ever thought
I'm
for a
thinking-
second that he
yeah,
would
but
go
there was a
there,
part
yeah.
of me that originally was like, no way does he go back to
Yeah.
his
He was always going
original
back to
family
he was going back to his
here.
real family.
And then when he
always.
walks into Jack's house, it is like, it's bittersweet because on the one hand, it's like, this is very epic.
Yeah.
Marky Mark's being accepted back into the family. But it was bittersweet the fact that he wasn't actually going back to his real family, because he's still, if anything, he's made it worse. He can never go back to his original family.
Why would he ever want to go back?
No,
I mean,
not that he would want to go back, but
it's like, obviously there are some negative things in this family's life. Like that scene with Roller Girl and Julia Roberts where they're just snorting lines back to back, and she calls her mum, and they're talking about going to pottery class.
That's so great though.
It's
That's
like,
a really
I love that scene,
It's
but
so
it's
dark.
It's not exactly. Yeah, it's quite dark. And Julia Roberts is like, I don't think they ever really touch on it again. This is sort of the lowest point for Julia Roberts, I think.
Well, I don't
Like,
know.
when
There's
she's
that
like,
bit where
yeah,
she goes
you're
to
my
try and fight for
mum.
her son. Like, because that's very
Really?
relevant when we're talking about the family aspect of this film, her relationship with her kids.
Yeah, weirdly, it was this scene for me that felt lower for her, because it was kind of like, at this point we hadn't really, I don't know. Yeah, she missed the call from her son earlier on, but it's like she's like, oh, I miss my two sons, Dirk and Thingy. She's already replaced her son with Dirk.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you're my mum, right? I want you to be my mum. And it's like she hasn't offered this or said it herself. This is what Roller Girl wants.
Yeah.
And she says yes, but it doesn't quite feel like she really is saying yes. I don't know. And then she's like pacing around the room, like, what have
She's
I
like
done?
she's gonna have a heart
and
attack.
she's about to have a freak out. And when she's like, she calls her mum again, the look on her eyes is not, I don't think it's one of, yes, my beautiful daughter. It's like, fucking hell, I've really have some fucking complex issues. This fucking girl thinks I'm her mother.
Well, it's like,
I've lost Mark. I've lost my other son.
yeah.
What have I
I'm doing
got
cocaine
left?
with my daughter right now.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exactly it though, isn't it? Because like up until then, her character is wanting, like she wants, well, not so much her real kid because she keeps on mugging him off, but like she kind of wants to be a mum. She, like, her whole thing is that she wants to be a mother. But then when someone kind of gives it to her, just straight up, like, oh, like, I'm gonna ask if you're my mum, you say yes. It's like she's kind of faced with the responsibility of motherhood, like there and then.
Yeah.
Which she hasn't been able to deal with so far because she keeps on fucking
And
mugging
I
off
like
her
how
kid.
she doesn't ask if are you my mum? She says, I'm going to ask you, are you my mum? And you're going to say yes.
Yeah,
And then she goes,
it's like
are you
she
my
has no
mum? And she
choice.
says yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's almost like her lifestyle has led her to that, like her who she is as a person has led her to that moment. Like there's no other there's like no escape from her being these symbolic kids parent figure, you know. It's like
Yeah.
she can't just be teasing them like that.
Yeah.
But okay, I want to talk about the New Year's Eve scene.
The New Year's Eve
Because
party.
I think I think PTA himself, he like throughout the film, he brilliantly kind of emphasized like what the effects of like time has on like relationships and like passion and like love for things, and how it just kind of like everything deteriorates over time and like nothing lasts in its original form, I guess. And that is literally perfectly kind of embodied by this night. There's like a constant tension that is like always building with this quite literal ticking clock.
Cooking top.
Sharp. It's this literal ticking clock of the new year that isn't only a new year. They're leaving behind the 70s, which is like the kind of, it's almost like a personality trait for one of them. It's like, and then there's this whole business deal with Jack where he's having to move away from film into the kind of new era of video, and
I want to
like,
talk about that further later.
yeah, and he's very kind of like I don't know. There's this great kind of motive of how time affects people and relationships and passion and like what it does. And the scene is like everything is building to this climax, and everything's kind of getting more and more tense, and it almost felt like a bloody horror film for a second. Like
It's such a tonal shift. It's the
everything
biggest
starts
tonal
moving
shift of the
faster.
film.
Even in the background, people are running about, and like there's that bit where Philip Seymour Hoffman like takes Mark out to his car, and you almost think like, oh, like Mark doesn't want to finish his like, this isn't where he wants to spend his
New Year.
his New Year, but but the time's running out because all these people kind of trying to get him, and it's like
and weirdly in that moment with Scotty, with Philip Seymour Hoffman, I don't know about you, I really thought that Marky was going to do something with him. Like weirdly, like 30 seconds, like after like 2 rejections, I was and then they're hugging and stuff. I was for a second, I was like, is something weird, really odd about to happen, but it didn't.
Yeah. But speaking of Philip Seymour Hoffman, and considering you guys both really like this film, you guys both have to watch Magnolia. It's like, I prefer Magnolia to this film in Paul Thomas Anderson's filmography.
I see.
It's very like it's not similar in tone, because obviously this is quite a kind of like I don't know, like bright, but I don't know. Magnolia is very dark, but it's kind of the way it kind of bounces around with different characters and like different storylines almost. It's like very similar, and all the cast is kind of the same. And yeah, it's fucking brilliant. So you guys should watch that too.
I don't know about you, but I think the best Philip Seymour Hoffman film's got to be The Hunger
Twister.
Games Mockingjay Part 2.
Yeah.
The film that drove him to his death.
Yeah, exactly. Also,
Fuck's
the
sake.
Master, another PTA film that you both need to watch with.
I know. I was
him in it.
picking up The Master to you two the other day. I thought about doing The Master for this week's podcast.
Oh yeah, you did.
Didn't
Well,
I?
I
Yeah.
didn't really want to watch it, but I want you to watch it.
I've not seen it, so I will watch it soon.
Oh yeah, let's I kind of segued, but the New Year's Eve night.
Yeah. The best night.
So with Little
we're doing
Bill, the AD, and his wife, and that whole part. How do we feel about that?
I thought it was bloody great.
It's the death of porn, isn't it? It's the death of porn. It's the death of family. It's the death of love.
Yeah.
It's all of these things in one, and it's just fucking excellent. The when he goes to his car, and you just know as soon as he starts opening his car, you just know he's getting a gun.
Yeah.
I love that he
just
left his drink on top of the car, which I thought was great.
The image just holds so much to the story, and so much changes at that point. The party really is over,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Well,
the 70s are
literally.
dead.
Yeah.
Cinema and film is dead.
And
The
I
family's
love
dead.
I love the shooting happens 2 seconds before midnight. They don't
Yeah.
even get to celebrate
Yeah,
the new decade before the last one's dead already.
it just
Well,
hits them
It
in
dies.
the
It
face.
hits them in the face when they're least expecting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that him killing his wife and her lover and then himself that's it. Well, yeah, like Toby said, it's the death of the 70s, isn't it? It's the death of everything they kind of hold true to themselves and what they associate with like feeling good and a good time. It's like everything gets killed along with them.
I'm sorry, but that man and his mustache and his revolver and his cut queen wife, right? He did not get a break during that entire film. Even at the start, when Marky Mark is walking out of the club and he gets picked up by Jack, you can see him in the background taking a parking ticket off of his fucking car. And it's like, the man just stands there while a crowd of people stare at his wife getting
I wanted to say
railed,
something.
and it's just like, this is so bad.
Because when I like the I don't remember the scene when he's getting picked up, but I remember when Marky Mark's walking out the side of the club and he's walking towards like the light and the opening of the front of the club where everyone else is leaving by.
Yeah.
But Bill, the AD, this guy, has like left the club but gone into the dark, and he's gone in the alleyway and he walked past Marky Mark, like away from the like warmth of the club.
Yeah.
And it's like he's like so separated from everybody else.
Yeah, well, I didn't. This isn't really like a hot take or anything, but I just wanted to say, because, well, the writing throughout this film is phenomenal. But I actually loved it when he watches his wife having sex in the ground,
yes.
everyone's watching him.
I've got it written down.
And that guy, and he goes, "Oh, my fucking wife," and I thought, even that as the start of the sentence was amazing, because he's literally talking about his fucking
Wait,
wife.
I've got
his
the
wife
quote.
getting fucked.
I've got the quote written down. I'll read it out. My fucking wife has an arse in a cock right
Yeah.
now. That's the line. and I really hope that like he fucked the line on set, and they
And
were
they
like,
kept
"That's
it.
great. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Let's keep
yeah,
that."
yeah.
I
That's
think
exactly
that must
what
have
I
been
thought.
how it went down.
Yeah, completely.
It works perfectly. He's so dazed by the situation, he can't even talk properly. It's
Yeah,
great.
I pray to God that it was accidental, because that's like the best accident ever.
I wrote down about about the sexual revolution and newfound sexual freedoms in the 60s and 70s,
Yeah.
and how Little Bill is has been largely negatively affected by it. Like, I feel like you see other relationships in the film where like they're frosty relationships. You know that this person wants to leave this person, yet like when push comes to shove, they're still there for each other. Like on New Year's Eve, Buck and Betty, I think her name is, or Becky, like she has just met that other guy that she ends up marrying, but she's still there 2 minutes before on New Year's Eve with Buck.
Yeah.
Not this new guy. Whereas like she can't even be there for her husband on New Year's Eve at midnight. She's off fucking this other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also glad that they just didn't show them fucking. I feel like because it was
We'd
the
already
third
seen
time
it.
I saw
Yeah.
the wife fucking, I was just happy to not see the wife fucking, and the wife wasn't shown fucking, and it was great. I was like, that was a big moment for me. That was like it wasn't self-indulgent porno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it works specifically well because the other two times she acknowledges him. There's like when he walks in the first time, they stop having sex, they talk for like 30 seconds,
Yeah.
and then he leaves. The second time when they're like out on the driveway, she's like, "Oh, you're embarrassing me in front of everyone." And then this third time, he opens the door and walks into the room and stands there, and you can see in the shadow they don't stop having sex. Nothing stops. Nothing changes. He stands there and watches them, and she doesn't. It's clear she doesn't even acknowledge him, and that's
Yeah.
why he does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of my favourite characters, to be honest. I thought he done a lot of bits.
No, I really I liked him. He was
Yeah,
one
I
of,
thought he was great.
I felt bad for him the whole time. I felt so bad.
Well, he's also in Magnolia, and his character's even sadder in that. He plays a great
He plays a
Like-
great cuck.
cock. Yeah, he does.
I would say should we launch into the drug deal?
Oh, sure.
I feel like that's the other meaty bit,
Yeah, I think that's one of the meaty parts we haven't quite got to yet.
and it'll round it off nicely.
It already kicks off there.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Alfred Molina's amazing performance. He was so great.
What as the like drug dealer?
Yeah, Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
My favourite performance in that scene was the firecrackers. So
What Cosmo or whatever his name
Yeah.
was. I think his name's
yeah.
Cosmo. Yeah.
I wanted to say this, so I don't. It could not be relevant at all. But the John Cassavetes film, The Killing of a Chinese Bookie.
Yeah.
yes,
Well, that character, he explicitly said that he was Chinese, and his name was Cosmo, and the main character in Killing of a Chinese Bookie, his name is Cosmo. So
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know. I don't know if that has
I
any
see.
relevance, but I noticed it.
I reckon there's a big relevance there.
Yeah.
so this final sort of segment of the film where they go to the drug dealer's house and they essentially, without knowing, get caught up. Marky Mark and his big dick get caught up in a plan to rob the floor safe of this drug dealer's house.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
they want no part of it.
They don't
they've
know it's
come-
even going to happen.
Yeah, they've come to mug him off $5,000 for a bit
Yeah.
of baking powder,
Bit
basically.
of baking
Yeah.
powder.
But then
But then Biggie Smalls shows up with a
Biggie
with a
Smalls
massive
is
gun.
not dead. He lives on in Boogie Night.
Biggie Smalls never died. He became an actor, and you can see him in
What a weapon of a
1997.
bloke.
He was a weapon of a man.
He was,
There's no-
and when he pulls out the double M911,
yeah, and he just
and
guns.
he's
He starts
like,
gunning. He just starts
dueling.
gunning. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he
God.
completely whiffs the Marky
Yeah.
Mark and
To be fair,
and
if you're
John
gonna have
C.
two guns,
Reilly.
you should at least be able to hit someone from like 6 feet away.
Yeah. So if you can't aim with two, just use one, mate. Like,
it's like that man. That's a powerful man, right there. That's really what masculinity is about.
I mean, to be honest, buddy Marky Mark and John C. Reilly, they didn't even have guns. Biggie Smalls should have just run at them. He literally could have clotheslined
Yeah.
them both and just killed them.
Yeah.
and I like how they're like, "I'm sorry, mister. We knew nothing about this. We just want to leave." and he's like, "Yes, boys. I understand. Don't worry." And then as soon as the guy like pulls a gun out, it's like Biggie Smalls is just like, "Cool, I'm gonna gun these guys down.
Yeah.
These unarmed men. I'm gonna gun them down."
I was like fair play because like
Yeah.
for all Biggie Smalls knows, that was all part of their ploy or something. You just
Yeah,
in that
potentially.
situation, you just got to start gunning. I reckon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'd do.
Well, Biggie's a bit nervous around guns after having survived his assassination
That
in
is
this
true.
alternate timeline.
Yeah, little
So-
did we know what's in the safe is it's Tupac's dead body.
It's Tupac's dead body and who was standing on the grassy knoll that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty dark scene, and also Cosmo really fucked me up. I'm not.
Oh my
gonna
god,
lie.
that was fucking brilliant though. That was like
It's
one of the
genius.
best things ever. You like I know. Well, I'm gonna say the obvious thing here, but it just sounds like there's gunshots going off left, right,
Yeah.
centre. And you don't know
They're,
what to
Yeah.
do.
they're baiting you into thinking that I can't remember what this guy's called, Ned or something. This guy,
What?
the guy they're friends with
Alfred
from
Molina.
the
Oh,
the
no.
Party Boy Club or whatever. I can't remember.
Oh, I
the guy with
forget
the
his
gun. Like they keep baiting you into thinking that he's fine. He shot the guy like,
Yeah.
off screen
Yeah.
all the time, and it works so effectively. When the music cuts out and it goes off, you're like. And you expect to like blood to start coming out of the dealer or something, and then nothing happens. It was just,
Yeah.
it's
Also,
just firecrackers.
when old Alfie put one bullet in his gun, swinged it round, and put it to his head, I actually I winced so hard. I was so sure he was just gonna kill himself.
Oh, that
That
was
really reminded me of Lehen.
Well,
It's
that
the same
happens
thing.
in
They
my
go
head.
to a coke dealer and he's in a dressing gown. He's
oh my
coked
God,
up,
yeah.
and he
Yeah.
puts a bullet in a gun and he puts it to his head and he shoots it.
Yeah, they're very similar scenes.
It was literally like the whole time I was watching it, I was like, is this an homage to Lehen? I can't tell.
It probably better be. Lahane's
Like it was very similar.
I moved Lahane up to my second favourite film of all time on my big list a couple weeks
I
ago.
just-
Wow,
got the-
that's a
I-
huge move. That's an interesting move.
Yeah.
I got the new BFI copy of it, and I'm subjecting the parents to it on the weekend.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like
They'll love that.
I loved it when I
Yeah.
watched it, and then I rewatched it, and I was like, yeah, okay, this is an undeniable masterpiece, and it's one of my favourite films I've ever seen.
Anyway, we're not talking about Lehen.
Anyway.
We're talking about Boogie Woogie Wonderland.
That is the one that we're talking about.
Biggie Nights.
Biggie Nights.
R.I.P. Biggie Nights.
Yeah.
Biggie Night. R.I.P.
Biggie
Biggie
Nights.
Nights.
Biggie Smalls and Suge Knight. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so the drug deal scene is the point in which Marky Mark realizes fuck, I need to change something in my life.
Yeah, he's in his rut. He's a full blown drug addict.
Yeah.
He's fucked. Even his car is fucked. Everything's fucked.
Oh, also, how
looks
epic was it that he just
awful.
rolled down the street on his car that wasn't even like on? they just took the handbrake off and just like cruised down the street.
Yeah, it's like thank fuck the drug dealer lived on a hill.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like
Also,
And that he
I wanna
can't
know
hit
where
the
John
broad
went.
Side of a barn with a shotgun either.
yeah.
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 But yeah, I
There
wanna,
was a lot of shooting in this scene
yeah.
where people should have died and people didn't die.
Yeah. I love that Reed just jumps into the bush and
I
then we
wanna
just
know where he
never
went.
ever see him again.
See him
Yeah.
Oh no, he does the magic, doesn't he? Oh, we do see him again. Yeah.
Oh, that was yeah.
I forgot about that. I just, for some reason, I actually thought that was the last time we ever saw him in the film.
When he's doing that magic trick and the girl comes
that
out
with
with her
it?
tits out is so
Oh,
funny.
yeah,
also
what the hell
actually,
was that?
Fuck's sake.
Speaking of that though, that is like that whole scene of him doing the magic. I mean, it's not very relevant because you guys haven't seen it, but that was very reminiscent of the killing of a Chinese bookie as well. It kind of
Oh,
looked like
okay.
the club from that film, and like
Honestly,
there's like naked girls on the stage, and
all I could think about was Arrested Development. That's all I
Oh,
could think about
and
during that
Job.
scene. Job doing, and because he's like when he's like swinging around the swords and stuff, Job
Yeah.
literally does exactly that in Arrested Development.
Yeah.
He always does some like swordy stuff. Oh,
yeah.
He's always got a knife in his mouth.
I haven't
The-
actually seen
the
Arrested
tricks were
Development.
quite underwhelming as well.
Yeah,
There was bad tricks.
I actually.
Well, I don't think he was ever meant to be a great magician.
Oh,
yeah.
I loved it when in Julia Moore's film, and she interviews him, and he's like, "Oh, I've got other interests. Like I like magic." And then he like goes to say something else, and he goes like, "Oh, well, maybe that's something I'll go into in the future." And he like, I don't know. I just thought it was really sweet. It was quite cute how he like how. I don't know. It was just really nice. I liked him as a character, and I like that he likes magic. It was, I don't know.
Yeah. Can we just get it straight? Is it Julia Roberts or is it Julianne Moore that was in this film?
It's
Julianne Moore.
Really?
You've all been
I
saying
kept
Julia
saying
Roberts
Julia
the whole
Roberts over
time.
and over
Okay,
and over
And
So
I've been
I-
really confused.
I knew it was Julianne Moore, but then George kept on saying Julianne Roberts, and it threw me off. But I've just looked, and it is Julianne Moore.
Of course it's Julianne Moore. What was
Yeah.
I thinking? I literally thought I knew who the two people were, and I just had their names mixed up in my head.
Well, that's why I had that big fit where I said every possible name earlier because I just couldn't
Yeah.
remember because George just
Oh.
threw me
Well,
off.
well, I was very confident in my Julia Roberts. So.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So, has anyone got anything else to say with the drug deal scene? Because I've got something to say about about what happens after that.
No, I don't think I've got anything to say.
No, I'm good.
So okay, so going in from that, like that's when he knows he has to go home in a sense, in quotes.
Yeah.
But to Jack. But I really loved that in the moment that he goes to Jack and he asks for forgiveness. It's like Jack is like barely in, like we don't see his face, like he's barely in frame. We see like the back of his back, and it's like
Yeah.
Marky Mark is like we see him entirely. Jack is almost like it's almost like he's irrelevant at this moment, and Marky Mark is asking forgiveness from himself.
Yeah.
Like it's like Jack isn't there. Like he doesn't even need to be there. He's not even in the shot basically.
I
Marky Mark
hated
is
they-
like
Sorry.
Yeah,
They
go on.
cut.
No,
They cut to They then cut to the reverse right at the end of the scene, and you see Jack, and you see that he's like almost crying and he's upset. And I really hated that. I really wanted them. They could have totally cut the scene there
yeah.
and not showed that. Because I
Yeah.
really liked that they didn't show Jack. I also thought that it was maybe Burt Reynolds because he hated the film. They couldn't get him in for that shot, so they had to use a double. I honestly
Yeah.
thought that was what was going on at first.
No.
We haven't talked about that, but he's never seen Boogie Nights.
Oh yeah, he doesn't like the film. He
He
doesn't like the
fucking
character.
is so. He resent. Apparently, him and Paul Thomas Anderson really did not get on. as
Oh
well.
really?
Apparently, they were really not big fan. He wanted to hit Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh
He
blimey.
said.
Yeah.
So
To be fair, if
He's
some
never seen it.
26-year-old kid was telling you how to act and you were Burt Reynolds and you were like,
but he won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
I think it was only a Golden Globe, wasn't it?
Oh, was there only a Golden Globe?
Oh,
I think he
I
won an
know he
Oscar
won
for something
something.
else.
I didn't even realise it was Burt Reynolds, to be honest. In my
he got,
notes at
he
the
got
beginning,
nominated for the Oscars.
Nominated.
or in my notes at the beginning, I just put pornography Sean Connery because I didn't realise it was Burt Reynolds. I was like, oh, it's just a porn.
Pornography
Sean
Sean Connery. I keep getting recommended the videos of Sean Connery talking about slapping women on my YouTube.
Oh
and
no,
makes me
it never
uncomfortable.
stops. And I love this. When he died, there was some women on my Twitter timeline who were like big fans of Sean Connery and Bond. And when they like every time someone said about the fact that he was totally okay with beating women, they just didn't know what to say.
Oh
Yeah.
god, yeah. Yeah, so I really like that about the last scene. Anyway, going back to that, how it is literally him, like asking himself for forgiveness, and then he gets his big donkey schlong out, and he's happy with who he is again.
It's
Yeah.
important, isn't it? It's something that everyone has to deal with, and that is people make dumb mistakes, people do dumb shit, and people get into really bad times. But it's how you pick yourself up and take responsibility for your actions.
Yeah,
that really defines someone and really brings a sense of happiness and purpose to your life. And that's the transformation that you see in Boogie Nights. It is sad at that end in the mirror because it does have the undertones of the fact that the industry is basically dead, and if you can call it an art, the art is dead.
Well, I mean, I think, but like going back to what I said earlier, though, I feel like that, like, even though that's sad in a very like black and white sense that they're gonna fail, in their business venture, but like they've ultimately succeeded in life, I guess, because they found each other. They found that they found like the love that they've been after this entire time, and they can now feel good, as it were, without like sex and porn and drugs and alcohol. They can feel good with each other and feel good with themselves.
Yeah.
So the character arc of everyone is bloody beautiful, really.
Apart from Cuck, his character.
Apart from Cuck,
pretty dire.
Yeah.
So we talked about the soundtrack earlier, but I just wanted to mention before we finish, I actually thought the score, where it was there, was actually very good. And I thought, basically, the only real moments of score you hear are the opening black.
Oh, that was the music then is crazy.
And then that plays again during like Dirk in the car park and the reality porn in the limo. That plays. That's the only two times it plays in the entire film.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite interesting.
It was super powerful. It really echoed the film.
Well, PTA is very big into his music. Like the music in like Phantom Thread and the music in Punch Drunk Love as well is very like.
The music in Punch Drunk Love is fucking phenomenal.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's
like very just emotionally insane.
Driven. Yeah.
Like I don't like it gets me erect. Yeah. That's the real truth.
Well, you guys need to watch more PTA, please, because I've now got one more film. Well, I was gonna say I've got one more film, but then I also, as we all do, need to watch the short film that he made in 2003 with Adam Sandler called Couch. And it's a man goes shopping for a new couch. It's 2 minutes long. The only cast is Adam Sandler, and it was directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Is Phantom Thread's the one that I need to see next?
Phantom Thread is
Phantom Thread's the one that I'm highly invested in.
It's one of my favorite. Well, I don't know. It's hard because like There Will Be Blood is in like my top 10. It's probably like around the 10 mark, my top 10. But then I've only seen it once. I saw it a while ago. But then I've seen Phantom Thread a couple times, and it has my heart like completely. Like I love Phantom Thread so much. So I feel like if I rewatched There Will Be Blood, even though it is a masterpiece, I know it is, I feel like it could probably go down in my kind of all-time favourite films list. But Phantom Thread is like, it's one of its best, definitely.
So we're all in agreement then. This is big 5 stars. Big 5 out of 5 Marky Mark penises.
I gave it 4.5. I gave it 4.5.
But it's like, I think I probably want to give it a 5, yeah.
My heart tells me 5.
It's like my brain says 4.5, my heart says 5.
Well, in my eyes, it's a modern classic. It was so fucking entertaining. It really explored things, and it explored them at a deep level, and it was dark, but it ended with a note that wasn't too depressing.
Yeah, well, I'll say when I first finished it, I was going to give it a 4, just because I was comparing it to his other films, which I guess you have to dive into. But
we haven't been doing that yet.
Yeah, in comparing it to his other films, I gave it a 4. But then just before we started talking about it, I was like, you know what, it is a 4.5, I think. But it's like, well, hold on, let me get the old list up. So I've got a PTA ranked list on my letterbox.
Blimey.
There's 4 films in front of this.
He's got it up.
There's 4 films in front of this. So you guys need to get on the PTA hype.
What 4 films are in front?
There Will Be Blood, Phantom Thread, Punch Drunk Love, and Magnolia, and then Boogie Nights, and then there's 2 behind Boogie Nights, and that's The Master and Inherent Vice, which is last.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Okay, so before we wrap up, is there anything anyone else wants to talk about?
No, not really.
No, I think that's it.
I've just remembered. I found the stuff about video to film mirrored a lot about the film digital like conversation happening in the late 90s.
Yeah, the
Like-
death of
Like
the death of cinema,
1999, yeah, basically was the death of
death
cinema.
of film.
1997 especially was like they just announced Star Wars. They announced they were doing Star Wars digitally, completely for the first time. That was really on the scene then. So there's quite a lot of comparisons there.
Yeah, it was something that I would say about 3/4. I tell you what, it was when it was the shot of Jack walking through the almost like warehouse, and it's just full to the brim of these VHS
Yeah.
porno tapes, and he walks in and one's being edited, and he just does not give a fuck.
And
he
he's
looks
like, "How's it look?"
miserable.
And he says, "Oh, it is what it is," or something like that.
Yeah, and that's when that theme of the death of film really hit me, and it was quite a sad moment actually.
And honestly, I'm trying to think about like another epic like this, like that has come out since 1997, and I can't think of one.
I mean,
Well,
There's-
not in the same vein.
Yeah, I think this like kind of like spiritualizes something that I haven't seen in a long time and that hasn't been made in a long time. I feel like.
yeah, I mean, when did this come out? 97. I don't know. It's a very specific film. Though. It's like an ensemble film that's like also kind of like a coming of age. It's like a very like unique.
Yeah.
There's a lot going
experience.
on.
So I don't know. It's hard to compare it to other films.
Yeah.
But well, a part of me at the beginning was thinking a lot about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But
yeah.
Well,
then
this
that
film
didn't last very long.
and PTA got compared to Tarantino a lot. Apparently,
Yeah.
they're best friends, and Paul Thomas Anderson, after making Boogie Nights, got hold of Tarantino's number and was like, "Look, we should go for a drink because everyone's saying that my film is like your directorial style,
Yeah.
and we need to go for a drink." And
But
they
let's
went
go-
for a drink, and they've been best friends ever since.
Well, I mean, Tarantino's definitely got his place in the cinematic landscape, but he is nowhere near as good as Paul.
No,
Without a
Tarantino
doubt.
can get lost.
Yeah.
I think,
It's so funny how, as I've grown up, I've just grown out of Tarantino.
Just
Like, I
don't
still,
care
what do you
about
mean?
I still
Tarantino
Pulp
anymore.
Fiction's the best film ever made, Ollie.
yeah, it's true. Like, I respect him a lot as a director, but like, I don't know. I've like definitely grown out of his work, I think.
Yeah.
And on that note of
It's more
Pulp
like
Fiction
popcorn
being the
pleasure
best
now.
film ever,
yeah.
we should
one more
wrap
thing.
up.
One more thing.
One more thing.
Philip Seymour Hoffman sucking on that pen.
Oh yeah.
100%. I guarantee you, Philip Seymour Hoffman came up with that. He was.
Yeah.
I bet he was handed that pad. He saw the pen and he was like, "I'm gonna suck on this pen like it's his
I'm gonna
dick."
suck on this.
And,
pen.
and
A well-placed pen.
it was so. I found it very, very uncomfortable the entire
It was
time.
Philip
Seymour
Seymour Hoffman
Hoffman
made me uncomfortable throughout the entire.
He's
Yeah.
one of my favourite actors of all time, and I'm
Me
so
too,
sad
me
that he
too.
died.
Yeah.
But I mean, have either of you seen Capote or Capote, or whatever it's called? How
No.
have you pronounce it? Because I wasn't
No.
a huge fan of the film, but his performance in that is like fucking ridiculous. I'm pretty sure he won an Oscar for it actually,
yeah.
which sometimes doesn't mean a lot, but yeah, he's a crazy good actor.
Oh, one last thing. I
One last
promise
thing.
this is the last one this time. When the like last 4 minutes of the film, there's a montage of like a lot of things that the characters are now doing with their lives, and it plays under God Only Knows by the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for me, that song is now completely ruined by Love Actually, and I can't. I couldn't watch the scene without like feeling so uncomfortable. All I could think of was Love Actually, and it really ruined it for me.
I don't know. I've probably seen Love Actually once when I was like.
I've never
think-
seen it.
I'm just thinking about Hugh Laurie like doing a voiceover about how we all need family and love at Christmas, and I was like,
Yeah,
Jesus,
he
get
can-
off
No,
the screen.
fuck that.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to. Alright, yeah, forget it. Whatever. I was gonna
We're
say something
wrapping up.
about
No
Don
more
Cheadle.
final comment.
We're
Yeah.
wrapping up.
Yeah, or he's gonna do the leaving speech.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know
Who
last
fancies
time.
it?
It can't be me. It's Toby.
It's the leaving speech. We're leaving. Thanks for coming. It's been the goof and the gaffs.
We have had goofs and gaffs.
This week was Boogie Nights, and it was definitely one of the best films I've seen in a while. I was incredibly happy with this week's choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
So, thanks for listening. This has been Toby and Ollie and George.
I'm Ollie.
And I'm Ollie. Oh no, I'm not Ollie.
Oh, you bloody done it.
Oh, I've got it mixed up, haven't I, silly little boy?
And thanks for coming to Screen 4.
Yeah. Best podcast in the world.
Bye.
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 You want to take it from the top? Yeah, let's try it. He will rock you. The heat will roll you. Baby, don't you know my heat will move your soul. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Love me today. Love me tomorrow. All day, all night, you feel my heat. Feel my heat. I think we should repeat that again. Feel my heat. Feel my heat. Yeah, it's definitely cool.